Hey everyone, my name is Ricky Lovett, and this is going to be my informative speech with a visual aid. It's called Ride or Die. You grab your phone, put some headphones in your ear, put on your favorite playlist, you got your board on the ground, and that first push is either a start to a zen-like cruise down the street, or an adrenaline-filled ride with tricks and grinds. I'm going to be informing my audience today about longboarding and skateboarding, and I'll be explaining the cultural differences between the two and longboarders and skateboarders. I want to make sure everyone can distinctly identify the difference between the two boards and the two lifestyles. There is a noticeable cultural difference between skateboarding and longboarding lifestyles. And the reason I know there is because I've been skateboarding since I was 9 years old. I slowed down around my junior year for basketball and got into longboarding about 4 years ago. Ever since then, I've loved it, just cruising up and down the streets, and it is a very addicting hobby to get into. So let me show you the differences and similarities between the two sports, and I'll start off with longboard. According to the article, The History of Longboarding from Livestrong.com, the author Lindsay Tadlock says that longboarding was founded in 1959 on the Hawaiian islands of Oahu. This is the board, right here. See, is a little bit longer. You have your trucks, your wheels, your main board, your grip tape. This type of style is called the cruiser. It's mainly used just for, cruising around, hitting some good hills, getting decent speed, and that's mainly about it. And since mine does have a tail, I do have the ability to do some tricks on there as well. But there are three top styles of longboarding. It was the cruiser that I just showed you. You do also have your freestyle there. As you can see, both ends are open for the wheels to turn for a tight turn. And then also you have your drop down. And so the drop down is mainly so you can have better grip of the board, you can turn tighter than a freestyle, and you just mainly stay placed. And so it's not for doing tricks or anything, mainly just for riding. The lifestyle difference with longboarding, you actually have your cruisers, your leisure, people who just use it for transportation, just to ride around town. Maybe you do some dances on the longboarding, or some tricks here and there. And then you also have your racing style. Racing style, you're just bombing a hill as fast as you can, trying to beat your opponent. And with longboarding, there is a cultural difference between people and their clothes as well. With longboarding, you usually see shorts, Hawaiian shirts, or just any type of shirt. You have more so of a California flow to it, if you will. And so, you're not really trying to do much, just cruising around. So now that we got the longboarding out of the way, let's take a look at the skater side of things. According to the article Skateboard vs. Longboard from Livestrong.com, author James Hyland says that skateboarding was founded in California during the late 1940s. This is the board for skateboarding. You can see it still has the trucks, the wheels, even though they are both a bit smaller compared to the longboard, and the board itself has two concave ends, and that's mainly because you do tricks on it. You're going to be either at a skate park or just riding street. The big difference between skateboards is going to be the board width. So this is an 8.75, mainly because I have big feet, and it's better just to grip, because then you can get smaller or a little bit wider as well. And so when you get into those different sizes, the wider you go, it's mainly for vert, and the skinnier you go, again, going towards more so street. And when I say vert or street, that's going to be two different lifestyles for skateboarding. They usually always mesh together, but vert, you have to do with ramps, bombing big hills. Everyone thinks of Tony Hawk when you say vert, just because you get a lot of air, just always at a skate park. And then when you talk about street, you are literally skating, around the city, trying to find the perfect spot. If it doesn't work, you're going to make it work. If it works, you're going to hit the spot. And so that's going to be, the two different lifestyles with skateboarding. Like I said, they usually do come together, vert, ride street, and vice versa. So now I'll be comparing the two, showing you the similarities, differences, and the benefits of both. As you can see, they both are a form of skateboard. 4 wheels, one board is just longer compared to the other, and they both have trucks. Again, bigger wheels on the longboard, smaller wheels on the skateboard. They use the same equipment, and they both originated from surfing. Deborah, a peer of mine, she said that I feel with the cultural we grow and evolve, so I would lump them together in the same skater category. I do see where she's coming from, and I do agree to a point, because again, they are practically almost the same thing, and you are skateboarding in a way, just one's longer than the other, and they do have a little bit of different lifestyles in the way that you just ride the board. But again, all in all, they both are skateboards. Some differences, again, as I was saying, the board length, the riding style, one for leisure, the other one for doing tricks. Where to ride, you either, with a skateboard, you're at a skate park, you're just riding street, and with a longboard, you are mainly, sorry about the cat, you are mainly just, bombing big hills, trying to get fast and just cruising around the town. And then another difference between them is going to be, the starting age and just the different levels of skating. Because longboarding is much easier to get used to, just because that's where you find your balance. You don't have to focus on tricks and everything like that, compared to a skateboarding where, skateboarding, you have to, again, find your balance. It's a little bit harder, and then you are more so focused on doing tricks compared to just cruising around. And speaking of that, another peer of mine, Zachary, he said that while not entirely different from those that ride street decks, longboarders do tend to take things slower and focus more on cruising around town and less on tricks. Again, he hit it right there on the head. It's perfect example between the two. And then the benefits of both: great cardio. They strengthen your heart and your lungs. You're always pushing. And then it also builds stamina. It's going to build stamina in your legs, heart, and lungs. And believe it or not, the leg that just sits on the board is the strongest leg, because that's where all your balance comes in from. So now that I've told you the difference between both cultures, let me sum up the information that I've given you today. I've informed you about the cultural differences between skateboarding and longboarding. I've talked about the different types of boards, different riding styles, and just different clothing styles. And I've also explained the similarities and benefits of both. So if you ever get a chance to ride either of those boards, take it, because you never know. It could be a new thrill ride of a hobby. Thank you very much.